In the beginning, the earth wore its innocence like a cloak, green, breathing, hopeful. But where beauty gathers, secrets often root themselves in the shade. There were cities that shone as if painted by the hand of fortune, streets lined with wine, songs stitched into every evening. Yet behind painted doors, some hearts learned to hide hidden lives, hidden lovers, hidden names whispered in courtyards under the risk of a brazen dawn. When families loved differently, when desire refused the path set by law or by fear, the punishment was not always fire. Sometimes it was another kind of violence, exile, a slow unmaking of belonging. Names erased from neighbor lists, meals withheld, the cold seat at the temple, the turning of faces. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah became a story told both as warning and as wound. Over time, the tale of ash and thunder folded into later tongues, and from its ruins grew 100 whispered histories. Some said the pain ended there. Some said it traveled, secret and unfinished, carried like embers in the pockets of those who fled. What if, across centuries and miles, those who fled planted new roots, small, fragile seeds that would take 1,000 seasons to be named? What if exile became the seedbed for a new word, community? This is Marinwell, a city of 2 harbors and a dozen languages. Here, stories cross like ships. Here, 2 students will teach a city about truth. Leah Armstrong, pale-lipped and fierce, laughter folded like paper, only she dared to crease a painter's hand. A drawer full of sketches she kept beneath her bed. At 17, she had learned to practice a stillness that hid storms. Marco Lewis, a wide-shouldered kid with calm eyes and a laugh that spilled out of him like sunlight. He played center on the rugby team and gave answers teachers liked. If anyone asked, he'd answer twice to make sure they believed him. They were the perfect solution to 1,000 complicated problems. Publicly in love, privately, a different solitude. Leah wondered if Marco was truly part of the pretense. Who had staged the first lie? Who had first thought, better to be believed than to be burned? It did not matter. The story moved like a wave, outward, loud, convincing. They became a pair the school adored. After the kiss, Leah thought internal. I hate this. Every touch feels wrong. How do I tell him without telling him everything? Leah pulls Marco aside in a quiet corridor. Her face is tense. Marco looks confused. Leah, whispering, urgent. Marco, about the kiss. We need to be careful. People are watching. We can't let it look too real. Marco, confused, then hurt. Too real? What are you talking about, Leah? That's the point, isn't it? We're supposed to be in love. Leah, frustrated. It felt like you were enjoying it too much. Like you forgot it was just a performance. It's making things complicated for me. Marco, face hardening, stepping back. Complicated for you? It was just a performance? Leah? Leah, looking away, biting her lip. I can't. I can't keep doing this if you're going to blur the lines. Marco, angrily, voice rising slightly. Blur the lines? There are no lines, Leah. It's all fake. You want it fake, I'll keep it fake. But don't you dare act like I'm the problem when you're the one pulling away. Marco shoves his hands into his pockets, turns sharply and stalks away, disappearing down the corridor. Leah watches him go. In one breath, the carefully built house of pretense cracked. 2 truths collided. Rugby is honest in a way promissory notes are not. It breaks the pretense with motion. On the field, truth pushes against disguise. Marco misses a pass, a rival player tackles him. He staggers up, anger in his teeth. In the stands, a chant sheet, Mayor, Co, Mayor, Co. 2 opposing players shoving Marco. Foul words. Marco's face flushes. Leah stands alarmed, shouting encouragement. Then, an argument ignites on the sideline. A teammate slaps Marco's back too hard to get his head in the game. Marco snaps. Marco, shouting. You think you own me? You think your words make me small? Leah cringes, stands, then meets Marco's eyes. For a beat, the stadium hushes around their private eruption in public. Leah, loud enough for nearby students to hear. I'm not like every other girl. Don't you get it? I like girls. Marco, hurt. Wait, what? Silence like a dropped stone. The whole stand leans forward. Students, records on a phone. Voices in the crowd. Laughter that tastes of knives. First student, taunting. Is it for real or are they acting? What a show. Second student mocking. They're gay, right, right, say it again. The laughter grows. Leah and Marco are pushed to the edge. The joke now sharpened into social hunting. Shame blooms bright and hot. Teachers move in. Too slow. Mockery is a corrosive language. It eats the edges of a person until what remains is only what others will let you be. Leah, broken, in the art room, drawing furious, messy lines. Marco, angry, raw, alone in the locker room. I wanted to be brave, not like this. Not as a joke. And yet, from that rupture, something else began to stir. Not every voice in the field bent toward ridicule. Students who had been quiet at the edges of conversations share furtive glances. One boy, Samir, who had always sat on the margins, approaches Leah in the art room. Samir, softly. I knew. I thought I was alone. I thought I was the secret. Leah, head lowered. You thought what? Samir, eyes steady. That maybe we could be more than whispers. That maybe we shouldn't pretend. Ashes of shame sometimes fertilize courage. A single confession can feel like a match in the dark. Dangerous, yes, but also necessary. What began as friendship, a shelter built between classes, became association. Those who had been exiled by fear found one another. The club met in kitchens, in basements, in the quiet of Saturday afternoons. They taught each other how to name a feeling. They taught each other how to breathe without apology. A club is a microcosm of revolution. One classroom becomes two, then three informal networks grew like ribs under a skin of silence, pushing outward to the city. Where once exile had been punishment, now solidarity began to be recognized as survival. They named themselves, at first awkwardly, the Riverside Collective. Later, as language grew, as networks linked and names standardized, the umbrella they built became part of a larger chorus, the LGBTQ community. A word like a lighthouse. This community did not erase the past. It remembered. It retold the tale of how ancient punishments had driven people into shadows, and how, from that exile, a new belonging had been forged. The fires of old stories were still present, but they were reframed, not as condemnation, but as caution and memory. From the plains of Story to the neon streets of Marinwell, people learned to refuse erasure. The ancient cry that once demanded exile became, across time, a different kind of call. A call to witness, to gather, to hold. No story is simple. The sins of old were ugly and real. Cruelty, indifference, institutionalized shame. Yet the answer to those sins was not vengeance, but community. The answer was people leaning into one another, telling their truths, and building structures where children would not be punished for who they loved. And so the rainbow became more than a promise. It became a banner, a history, a bridge built from forgotten places into a future where all colors could exist. Not as a new judgment, but as a new understanding. From fire and ash, life finds a way to bloom. From shame, a family. From a secret, a movement. From a lie, a truth.